welcome to the programme. After a long, dark winter, we are here in the picturesque town of Villa la Angostura, which can only mean one thing. This is Patagonia, and we are ready for the first round of the 2019 MXGP season, the Grand Prix of Argentina. This is the first of 19 rounds in this year's World Championship, which includes a first ever visit to Shanghai and Hong Kong, while Uddevalla in Sweden makes a return. Meanwhile, the season-ending Motocross of Nations will take us to Assen in the Netherlands. The track here in Patagonia is always incredibly popular with the riders. With its volcanic soil and big elevation changes, the riders can really get their teeth into this one, with the cream usually rising to the top. However, there will be one notable absentee in Argentina. Our defending MXGP World Champion Jeffrey Herlings is out of action with a broken foot, so there'll be no repeat of his stunning win here to kickstart his championship challenge from last year. But please don't be sad, there are plenty of pretenders to his crown. Tony Cairoli is in fine form as he chases what would be a stunning 10th world title, while the likes of Roman Federer and Tim Geiser would love to get their hands on the crown they claimed in 2015 and 16 respectively.
Reason why the riders like this Neuquén circuit so much, so let's take a look at one of the more fun elements on this racetrack. As the riders head out of turn 2, they're immediately on the gas and through this sweeping right-hander. When they hit the first uphill jump here, the bike automatically compresses at the back end and the riders just float over this first single jump into what is almost like a gravity cavity the other side, get on the gas, hit the next jump, another floater. It's spectacular, the riders love it, but on the first lap it's high speed and a lot of action goes on here at the start of the race. Just a couple of corners on from those first few jumps, then we're into this wave section here. As you can see, the left-hander, the approach into this wave section, you've got an outside line where the riders can hopefully double the first two and continue that through as a double-double situation towards the Monster Energy jump behind me. But in the years gone by, they've gone inside. It's normally the shortest route in terms of these waves are a lot closer together. But if you don't get on the gas and don't get the right drive coming out of that turn, this section here can cause all kinds of problems for you. And in the past, people like Jeremy Van Horvik and Jorge Prado have been caught out here. Will this part of the racetrack cause problems again this weekend? We'll have to wait and find out, but in the meantime, enjoying the rest of the GoPro lap here from Neuquén. With the gate about to drop on the MX2 campaign, let's have a quick look at the off-season game of choice, musical chairs. Mind you, it's as you were for defending champion Jorge Prado, still shacked up with Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, under the same wing as MXGP legend Antonio Cairoli for the second year running. Red Bull yet again is effectively running two separate teams, but there's a real dark horse on the other side of the garage, with French teenager Tom Vialle coming in to partner MXGP champion Jeffrey Herlings. Vialle comes with real pedigree too. His father, Frederick, was a runner-up in the 125 Championship back in 1996. At Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, Thomas Olsen has been third overall for the past 2 seasons. But with Paul Jonas moving up to MXGP this year, TKO now has a new partner in crime, Jed Beaton, who misses Argentina through injury, and MX2 debutant Mikel Hara. Beaton's move to the Husqvarna squad left a gap at his old team, F&H Racing. As a result, Henry Jacobi has been brought in to replace him on the Kawasaki after a breakout season in 2018. Adam Sterry once again is on the other bike after missing a large chunk of last season due to injury. There are no changes at Team HRC, although Calvin Verlanderen will be hoping to avoid some of the misfortune that prevented him making a run at the top 3 spot in the standings in 2018. The Dutchman will need to make a better start to his campaign this time though. Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha have stuck with a very strong rider lineup for 2019. Ben Watson is full of confidence after an impressive Motocross of Nations, while teammate Jago Kietz also impressed as a rookie last year. Both could be regular visitors to the podium. Also making the step up from EMX 250 to MX2 is Revo Husqvarna UK. This will be a first full season for Dylan Walsh after the Kiwi showed great potential as a wildcard in Germany last year, while Alvin Osland has shown his ability to challenge for the top 5 in the past. Team Honda Red Motor Asamotor are making the same transition as Revo. Matthijs Borromé took the EMX 250 title last year and will be hoping for a regular fixture inside the top 10. The Frenchman is joined by Brent Van Donnick after his move from Husky. Hitachi KTM, fueled by Milwaukee, is another team hoping for great things from their riders. Conrad Muse and Bas Farsen will both be hoping to push into the top 5 in the championship, all things being well. This year's MX2 Championship promises to be a real thriller. After a winter off-season preparing for the World Championship, the gate finally dropped here in Argentina. MX2 Race 1 and the first foxhole shot of the year went to Red Bull KTM's rookie, Tom Vialle. His teammate Jorge Prado, the defending champion though, went around the outside, and from there, no one really saw the young Spaniard. Good start for the F&H Racing Kawasaki of number 29. Henry Jacobi got himself into third early on, but Michele Chervelin was not so lucky. He fell on the opening lap. He picked himself up in 25th and would eventually come home in 19th. Henry Jacobi forced his Kawasaki down the inside of Vialle to take over second position as he tried to keep Prado in his sights. And Thomas Kjær-Olsen didn't make the best of starts, but he was quick to find his way through the field. That pass on Mitch Evans put him in contention. He then went after the number 10 of Verlanderen as he swept inside the top 5. He was then onto the back of Vialle. That pass on the KTM rider put him up into third place. He was quickly followed through though by the number 10 of Verlanderen, as the Honda rider believed he could also make the top 3. Aggressive riding from Thomas Olsen and Henry Jacobi, but it was eventually the number 19 who forced his way past the German around about the halfway mark. He was now up into second. By then, Prado was gone. Evans on the Honda 114 Motorsports machine from Australia in his rookie season in MX2 jostled with the likes of Jago Kietz as he eventually advanced into 5th place. He also found his way past Vialle in the latter stages of the race. Thomas Olsen was looking fine in second position, but no one a match for the 61 of Jorge Prado. The young Spaniard got off to a flying start. He was victorious in race 1. MX2 Race 2, and this time it was Jorge Prado who grabbed the foxhole shot. He had 26 of those in the bag last year, so just 25 to go then, if he is to emulate what he did last year. He got up to a flying start. Behind him was Mitch Evans. Another flying start for the Australian as well, but Ben Watson, who was up in 4th, eventually faded back to 11th before climbing his way back to 7th in the latter stages of the race. Darian Sinai, who was feeling under the weather, decided to quit in race 2 after a crash. Hopefully he'll be okay for Matterley Basin round 2. David Puches also had an off-track excursion, eventually came home in 10th on the Diga Procross Husqvarna. But Olsen, another flying start for the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider, eventually got alongside and made the move around the Australian as he moved into 2nd on lap 5. Kevin Valandron, another good start for him. He was circulating on his own for most of the race in 4, and he was lucky to get away with the odd slide here and there. Tom Vialvo was having a fantastic debut. He was up in 5th position, but he was being caught by the F&H Kawasaki's of Adam Sterry and his teammate, Henry Jacobi. Sterry went through first, got himself into 5th. He then ran off track, but did not lose any position. Jacobi, though, kept his form from the race 1 intact. He then charged down the inside of Vial. That put him into 6th position, and then he capitalized on a mistake from his teammate later on in the race to move into 5th place as Jorge Prado danced to his own tune at the head of the field. That was Sterry going down. He eventually came home in 9th, but it was still an okay GP for the Welshman. Ben Watson recovered well to come home in 7th, just behind his teammate at Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, Jago Geerts, who came home in 6th place. But Olsen was no match for Jorge Prado, who went on to record an impressive double here in Argentina. Olsen was 2nd, Evans 3rd, and that was how the podium finished as well. Prado gets the win here in Argentina. Olsen 2nd overall, just like he was a year ago, and Evans on the podium in his first ever MX2 Grand Prix. Valandron was 4th, Jacobi was 5th, but it will be Prado who takes the red plate to round 2. It's been an off-season of ins and outs in the MXGP ranks, but the big news, of course, is that defending champion Jeffrey Hurlings is not in Patagonia after breaking his foot in training. The Red Bull KTM Factory Racing star is the first defending champion since Stefan Everts in 2007 not to be on the line for the season opener, although in Everts' case, he was absent after retiring as a 10-time world champion. That represents a huge opportunity for Tony Cairoli to get a jump on his arch-rival and teammate, although they'll once again operate from under separate awnings. However, it's all changed at Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing. Paul Ann and Anstey have both moved on, but there's some quality coming in. MX2 World Champion Paul Jonas moved from the factory KTM squad to make his debut in MXGP, while Arminas Jasikonis swaps his Honda for life with Husky, looking to be a regular on the podium. There's plenty of fresh faces at Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP too. 2015 champion Roman Febvre stays put for a 5th straight year, hoping for an injury-free campaign. But he has a new teammate in the shape of Jeremy Seawer, 8th in last year's championship, who moves from Wilbo Yamaha.
There are big infrastructure changes at Boss GP, who ran 2 different marques last year. They also have a new team manager and have moved to Kawasaki Power. Evgeny Bobashev remains in the team and is joined by Tommy Searle, a mover from Bike It DRT, retaining his links with Kawasaki. Gauthier Paulin is considered by many as a big contender for the title and has made the switch from Husqvarna to Monster Energy Wilbo Yamaha MXGP, going back to the brand for the first time since 2011. Arno Tonus remains in situ after sitting out all of 2018 with a shoulder injury. Standing construct KTM have picked up Glenn Koldenoff from Red Bull, the outright winner of last year's Motocross of Nations, with the Dutchman heading an all-new rider lineup that includes Max Anstey after the Britons move from Husqvarna and Ivo Monticelli in what promises to be a very strong outfit. RFX KTM is a new team to MXGP and will operate with just one rider, Sean Simpson. After a tough couple of years at Yamaha, the Scot is now back with the marque with which he claimed 3 national titles and is looking to be operating at the sharp end once again. Alessandro Lupino produced a stunning performance at last year's Motocross of Nations and now wants to kick on into the top 10 with Team Geben van Benroy Kawasaki Racing. The Italian is joined by Benoit Paturel, who endured a troubles last season with Marchetti Racing. MX2 champion from 2014, Jordi Tixier, will have Team VHR KTM all to himself this year. Fresh from a winning debut in the Motocross of Nations for France at the end of last year, he'll be keen to show he can still mix it with the big boys on the podium. After TM announced that they were pulling out of the championship, Max Nagel has gone back to his roots with the return to KTM Saarholz Racing. The German is joined by Tom Koch, who moves up from MX2. Tim Geiser overcame injuries to challenge for 3rd at the final round of the series and is considered a favourite before the first gate drop of the season in Argentina. The team remains unchanged with Brian Bogers as his wingman. Finally, Clément de Saux remains as the #1 hope to secure Kawasaki a first world title in the Premier class since Sebastian Tortelli in 1998. The team remains unchanged with Julian Lieber as his sidekick. After his 28th position in qualifying on Saturday, Tony Cairoli had a mountain to climb, but he swept around the outside at turn 1 to come out inside the top 5 positions as Julian Lieber grabbed the first foxhole shot of the season. Romain Febvre was right there in second. Geiser got pushed wide from 3rd as Cairoli swept through on the opening lap. Alongside him was the other of the Monster Energy Kawasaki's, Clément de Saux, but quickly Cairoli was up into 2nd with this move on Febvre at the end of the wave section. Cairoli showed he was in no mood for messing around. He went after Lieber, and before the end of the first lap, the 9-time champ was leading the race. Lieber was there in 2nd, but he would come under attack from Febvre. But the Frenchman scythed his way down the inside to take over the 2nd place position. Lurking dangerously in the background, Clément de Saux was ready to pounce as well. The Monster Energy Kawasaki rider almost took down his teammate as he charged his way through, past the fellow Belgian. Geiser split the 2 Kawasakis as he moved into 4th as he tried to keep de Saux in his sights. Gauthier Paulin didn't make the best start, but he advanced into 5th with that move on Lieber as Anstey went out, a damaged exhaust pipe after a crash in the early stages of the race. De Saux was ran wide by the 243 Honda of Tim Geiser. The Belgian fought back though as these two fought over 3rd. Eventually Geiser made a move that stuck. He went after Febvre in 2nd position. De Saux then found himself a lonely figure in 4th position, just like Gauthier Paulin on the Monster Energy Wilbo Yamaha. Jeremy Van Horbeke was content with 6th on his private Honda, as Geiser found his way into 2nd with that move on Romain Febvre. Arno Tonus, though, was not so lucky. He did, though, pick himself up He did not finish the race, but he would start race 2. Tony Cairoli, though, was victorious from Geiser and Febvre in race 1. After his impressive start in race 1, Tony Cairoli once again swept around the outside, but Clement de Sale was not so lucky. He dug the front end in deep. Gauthier Paulin went over the top, and so did Jeremy Seewer. But it was Julien Lieber who grabbed the second foxhole shot of the afternoon. Cairoli into 5th, quickly into 4th, and went after Tommy Searle, Romain Febvre and Tim Geiser. Jeremy Van Horebeke made a fantastic start as well for Honda SR Motor Blues, and the two standing constructs weren't too far behind either. In 7th and 8th, Monticelli and Anstey in orange. Cairoli hung off the back of his Red Bull KTM as he charged past Tommy Searle into 3rd. He did not want to let Geiser or Febvre get too far ahead, but it was the Frenchman who struck first into the lead before the end of the first official lap. But it wasn't long before Cairoli joined the party. He went from 3rd to 1st in the space of about 200 metres. When he went around the outside of Geiser and Febvre, who had a nervous look over the shoulder, realised the Sicilian was right there, but there was no reply from the Yamaha race. Geiser then found himself into 2nd with that move on Romain Febvre. Febvre looked content in 3rd. Searle, though, was almost out of the race from 5th. Lucky to escape that little kick from the hole. Van Horebeke was safe in 4th position, and it was a good debut for the Honda Satellite squad. Paulin was charging through the field with Clement de Sale. Eventually, they would get back to 5th and 6th. Partly because of this mistake from Romain Febvre, who hit the eject button, sent himself down the track and out of 3rd place with about 6 laps to go. Hopefully, we will see him on the line at Great Britain. Van Horebeke was suddenly in 3rd and looking at a podium. Cairoli was victorious. It was a double moto sweep here in Argentina, the first time the Sicilian has won on Argentine soil. Geiser came home 2nd, Van Horebeke 3rd. That was the podium as well. Anstey and Paulin were your top 5 in the race, but here's how it stood after the first round here in Argentina. Cairoli, 50 points in the books for the KTM rider. Geiser 2nd, Van Horebeke 3rd. And what a debut for Honda SR Motor Blues, the brand new team in MXGP this year. Van Horebeke on the podium for the first time since Valkenswaard 2017. Cairoli will take the red plate to Matterley Basin, which just happens to be one of his favourite tracks. Can he hold on to the championship lead by the time we leave Matterley?
Once again, the MXGP of Patagonia Argentina has delivered in fine style. Tony Cairoli and Jorge Prado produced a clean sweep of victories for the KTM boys. No such luck for Romain Febvre though, who we hope will recover as soon as possible. But delight for the Jerry man, who delivered an unexpected podium for his satellite team. That's it from Argentina. We're prepared. And we'll see you for round 2 in Matterley at the end of the month.